Nobody Ain't Nobody, the new film and an old book. Hi, I'm Gary Lovisi, and we're going to talk about movies and books today. A couple of days ago, the movies opened up here and in Brooklyn, Staten Island, and we went to see a good movie at the AMC. And the movie was The Courier with
Benjamin Cumberbatch.
Benjamin Cumberbatch. It was a Cold War spy thriller. Really good movie. But that's off on the side because while I was waiting for the movie to come on, they're showing the previews and the trailers of upcoming flicks. And one of the upcoming flicks that really got my interest was the trailer for a film called Nobody. Nobody stars Bob, I forgot his name, it's a hard name, Bob Odenkirk, who people will remember as the star of Better Call Saul. He was the sleazy lawyer in that show and in the previous show, Breaking Bad. And now he's a tough, hard-boiled killer, assassin for a government agency, super secret government agency. And I'm watching the trailer, and it is terrific. It's made by the guys that do the John Wick movies, and those are really with Keanu Reeves. Those are really action-packed adventure, hard-boiled, really good movies, fun and stuff. And they're doing this new movie, Nobody, where this guy who was a assassin and an agent for a super secret government organization who kind of retired, and he just wanted to be living home, a nice peaceful life with his wife and kids, and then he gets drawn back into this whole mess of spying and assassination, government secrets, and really betraying and backstabbing and all kinds of stuff that the government, these government organizations do against the foreign governments, foreign countries. He wants to be a citizen, just a regular citizen like everybody else, and live a regular life. Well, some of you might remember that back in episode 186, I talked about two characters that had been most maligned by the movies made from the books. One is Tarzan of the Apes, and the other one is Matt Helm, which was made into a movie, the fifth book, Murderer's Row, of the Matt Helm series. And that was with Dean Martin. And that movie was just terrible. It was kind of like, I don't know. Slapstick, and it was like
almost like a spoof.
A spoof, yeah. It was just. I'm trying to think of the goofy movies that were made in the 90s. Austin Powers. Yeah, that's what it was like. But Austin Powers is a goof on those movies, those goofy spy movies from the 60s. Well, this was one of those goofy spy movies. Dean Martin is great, but the movie was terrible because you cannot get a more hard-boiled character than Donald Hamilton's Matt Helm. Now, Matt Helm lasted 27 books. These are the first 12. And the first book in the series was Death of a Citizen. And it was very, very similar to the movie Nobody, or at least it seems to be. I see many close comparisons. A citizen, Matt Helm, his code name is Eric, and he's not a spy. What he is he's basically an assassin and a guy who does odd jobs for a very super secret government agency. It's so hard-boiled. And some of the blurbs on these books I'm going to read to you, they say makes James Bond and even Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer look like,
lightweights.
Lightweights, and so the thing is, The Matt Helm books are terrific. There's some of them now, and I'm going to just show you them. Go through them. The interesting thing about them is that, get my glasses on. First one is Death of a Citizen. And basically, Matt Helm just wants to be a regular guy, live his life with his wife and children. And he's being drawn back into this secret government agency doing work for them. And he's an assassin. He goes after other spies and other secret agents. And he's the guy that's got to, do the job to turn off or get rid of people who are doing pesky things. And he does it for this secret government, kind of a super CIA. The interesting thing about the books, all of the books have the confidential card on the back of each one, and it's the name of the agent, Matt Helm, his code name, Eric. The mission, number 1, is Death of a Citizen, and then it tells you over here. I'm going to read it to you. A citizen dies, and a wartime special agent is reborn. And the girl with the code name of Tina walks into a cocktail party, and 15 years of Matt Helm's complacent post-war life slip away. Suddenly, the old automatic reactions take over, and Helm is thrust back to the time when he had been a lethal young animal trained to kill, and she had been his partner. And here's the code. Each one of the books has these, and it's really cool that they explain and discuss about about each case. Confidential case file. That's Donald Hamilton. And one of the blurbs, if President Kennedy is a fan of British secret agent James Bond, he should switch allegiance to Matt Helm, for there isn't a thing the incredible Bond can do that U.S. agent Helm can't do better. And some of the blurbs are just terrific. That's the first one. Second one is The Wrecking Crew. Matt Helm makes British spy James Bond seem like a powder puff. And actually, he is much more tougher, much more cold and unrelenting. Any of you who go for action stories with spies, counter-spies, beautiful women, torture, brutality, violence, and chocolate layer cakes should forthwith make the acquaintance of Matt Helm, as tough an operative as ever crushed a Russian spy's kidney with a crowbar. That's from back of mission number 2, The Wrecking Crew. The third book in the series is The Removers. And we Americans have an agent of our own who makes Jimmy Bond look like the London fop he really is. Matt Helm is as tough an operative as ever crushed a Russian spy's kidney with a crowbar. They mention Jimmy Bond because the first American James Bond paperback was from Popular Library in the early 1950s, and in it, the spy is called Jimmy Bond. It's not James Bond at that time, in America anyway. So they're using that name for him at that time, and it's pretty cool. The third book, The Removers. A brutal journey into the bitter, silent world of government assassins, where calculated killing occurs in subtle ways in strange places, and there's wrecking, torture is a predictable rule of the game. Matt Helm finds himself torn between the neurotic urges of a gangster's headstrong daughter and a threat to the life of the woman to whom he himself has once been married. That's the third book of The Removers. The fourth book is The Silencers. And another in the best-selling Matt Helm series. The book offers good writing, slick plotting, and stimulating characters, all tartly flavored with wit. Dorothy B. Hughes wrote that in a review. And the books are very hard-boiled, very brutal, savage, unbelievable. Very interesting, though, in the way that Hamilton talks about how the spying is done, how assassination is done, how secret government agencies work. They betray each other. They go after enemies. And there's a lot of funny stuff in it, too.
That's another correlation between Nobody, because it seemed like it was like had humor to it.
Yeah, that's the thing too with Nobody. Bob Odenkirk, who was Better Call Saul guy, is really is kind of a comedy comedic actor. He's not really hard boiled. He's not really. He's a kind of a played a slick, sleazy lawyer, and he was a kind of funny guy who got into, screwed up situations. Well, now I saw an interview with him where he said he trained for 2 years for this part, for this movie, built himself up, but also learned how to fight, and he did all the action scenes supposedly in the movie. I have not seen the movie yet. We're going to see it in a few days, but from what I saw on the trailer, it's definitely a remake, or it seems to be heavily influenced by Donald Hamilton's Matt Helm first book, The Death of a Citizen. I don't know why, if they're going to do the guys that make the John Wick movies in Hollywood, if they want to make a really great, terrific movie or series of movies, why not just go to the original source? Go back to the original books, go back to the Matt Helm series, and make it the way it should have been made in the first place. Not the way it was made in 1965 in the Dean Martin movie, Murderers Row, but in maybe this movie, Nobody, is the proper way to do it. And speaking of the fifth book in the series, Murderers Row, this is the fifth book. The cover takes, this is a scene in the movie where one of the women that he meets is on the beach, and she's lost her purse and shoe, and he's deciding whether he should kill her or not. She wants to hire him to kill a witness, and the witness wants to hire him to kill somebody else. And the thing is the reason why is he was doing he was doing a job that turned sloppy and or apparently sloppy, and a woman was killed. And now these people have they were witnesses to it.
Forget about telling it. It's too long.
Yeah,
it's
just very complicated. But anyway, this is the back cover.
She's a spy too.
She's a spy too. There's a lot of spies involved, and double agent, and all kinds of shenanigans, betrayal, cunning. It's really written well. And this is a scene from the film with Dean Martin, and I think Elke Summer was in the movie. So, I mean, there was a lot, with Dean Martin and Elke Summer, there's a lot to commend this movie, but it's not Matt Helm. It's really like, man, it's like a goof of Austin Powers, except it was the thing that Austin Powers is making, fun of. So that's the fifth book in the series, and it is a terrific book. I'm actually reading it. Reading that now. The sixth book is The Ambushers. It says Matt Helm pushes Englishman James Bond and hard-boiled American Mike Hammer into the pansy class when it comes to toughness. I don't know about that. About Mike Hammer. Nicky Spillane. He was tough. If you have half a dozen thrillers at hand and one of them is by Donald Hamilton, you can either grab it at once or save it for dessert. Mr. Hamilton's melodrama is often novel. His pace is exemplary, and his capacity to divert spectacular. The Ambushers. Number 7 is The Shadowers. And again, every book has that. These are reprints. The series started in 1960 with Death of a Citizen, and he wrote 1 or 2 books every year until the 1990s. There were 27 books in the series, and there was a 28th book, but it was never published, as far as I know. It was yet not completed upon his death. Number 7, The Shadowers. An agent like Matt Helm might be a nice man to live with for a while, but he's not the kind who you would want to marry, unless perhaps she had to, unless perhaps the marriage was part of an ingenious cover. Here the man whose daily bread is violence takes himself the most unlikely bride in the world, just to make sure that death doesn't part them. That's number 7, The Shadowers. Number 8, The Ravagers. A Matt Helm suspense novel, the series of Donald Hamilton, is a top-ranking American secret agent fair with its intelligent protagonist and an author who consistently writes with high style. These books are incredible. They are hard-boiled, they are fascinating, and they are funny because it's like so much weird stuff happens, crazy stuff. You know, it's great. They're just great. And so underrated, so underrated. Number 9 is The Devastators. Number 10 is The Betrayers. This series by Donald Hamilton is the top-ranking American secrets agent fair. Number 11 is The Menacers. Menacers. In a little town in the Mexican coast, a young American woman is under heavy guard by U.S. agents and under heavy surveillance by Soviet operatives, including Matt Helm's old enemy Vadya. The captive woman is not only to have witnessed a flying saucer, but to be the only survivor of an attack on her. Helm is to accompany her back to the States or to kill her initially if it looks like the Russians are even getting close to a snatch. Well, this is the kind of thing that, so The Menacers is number 11. This is the kind of thing in Matt Helm. Really kind of brutal, kind of tough, because he's sent out. He's not really a spy. He is a assassin. He's a person that's, when there's a problem with enemy agents or people who are traitors or treason or spies or whatever it is, he's got to go and clean up the mess. His organization is tasked, this little organization of his, with basically cleaning up messes. And when you've got guys that got to go, he's the guy that has to go out and basically kill them. And in The Removers, the 5th book, his boss is seriously worried about him because he thinks that he's becoming too brutal, too savage, too inured to violence, and that maybe he needs to be brought back in. And so they have him, they're actually sending agents after him. So he's got the American agents after him, he's got the foreign agents, and there's a lot going on in that book. But you would never know it by the Dean Martin movie.
It's Murderer's Row. Murderer's
Row, yeah. And Death of a Citizen is really, you got to read that first to really get the feeling for it. And this is book number 15 from 1974, The Intimidators. And again, on the back cover, here's what Hamilton really looked like, photo. And they kept the same kind of, name, Matt Helm, code name Eric, mission, blah, blah, blah. This is book number 15 from 1974, paperback original. All of the Matt Helm books are paperback originals. And so that's the first 12 and also number 15. There's 27 in the series, and they are all worthy of you getting. They're all worthy of reading. And this new movie, Nobody, looks from the trailer looks fantastic. I mean, it really looks good, but it does seem very, very close to Death of a Citizen. And I'm wondering,
and the character is very much like Matt Helm.
Character is almost very close to Matt Helm. So
you were yelling that the whole time.
I was yelling it the whole time because I was like, I can't. Well, I just did in the video in 186, episode 186. I talked about Matt Helm in the movie with Dean Martin. I says like one of the that with Tarzan, but then with Matt Helm, the two series that characters that was more debased by the movies, because the movies totally screwed up the character, screwed up the whole idea of the novel, of the story, of everything, and the character and everything. So now maybe Hollywood got it right by some weird way, some twist of fate or something. They might be onto it, and this might be.
But they're not calling it Matt Helm.
They're not calling it Matt Helm.
So they're onto a good story, but
yeah. Well, or maybe somebody just read Death of a Citizen and said,
influenced.
You know, I was really influenced by this this book, and I think I'm gonna make a movie that's very, very close to the book. But we'll see. And that's for us to see, for me to see Friday when we go to see the movie, because it's great that movies are coming back. Theaters are opening up to 30-40%, and allowing people come in and watch movies again. So we're getting back to normal after a year. And there's a few good movies. The Courier with Benedict Cumberbatch is worthy of your interest. There's also King Kong versus Godzilla, which I happen to like.
That one
and we might discuss that at some other point. But the best one, this Nobody, is really somebody. So you gotta see that movie. You gotta read the book Death of a Citizen and the other Matt Helm books. Read them. You're gonna love these books, man. If you haven't read any of these, you're gonna be so surprised that this stuff's been lurking under the covers for so many years that you didn't know about, and you're going to thank me so much when you read this. Especially, start off with Death of a Citizen, but you just read any of them, it doesn't matter. You're going to thank me so much that, it'd be nice. And you could subscribe, let everybody know about these videos and all of that. But you're going to be happy. You're going to be a happy person reading these. They're rough, they're brutal, they're hard-boiled, they're relentless, they're true, they're honest, and they're really cool, and they're funny too. There's a lot of funny stuff in this, but not like Dean Martin silly funny. Funny in the kind of like Hammett and Chandler, hard-boiled funny, like it's like, whoa, wow, it's gonna blow you away. So, see the movie, read the book, give us a thumbs up and a like. And we'll see you next time, maybe at the movies. Bye for now.